Welcome to Compression, the quest to $100 million in just 1 year. Join me, your host, Logan Freeman, in this one-of-a-kind interactive podcast experience where I am on a quest to compress 3 years of achievement and production into 12 months. And no, the answer is not to just work harder. I'm bringing you not only ideas and concepts that are complete at the theoretical level, but they're also effective at the applied level. Look, guys, knowledge is not power. It is potential power. Knowledge plus massive strategic action equals power. We're talking about strategy, systems, accountability, all in real time. This is Compression. Welcome back to Compression. We've got a special episode today. Jerome and I have been putting out content around compression. People are gravitating towards it. They're grabbing onto it because it's sticky. But people keep asking, what the heck is a compressor? What does that mean? What does it mean to compress? And if you search compression, it's a mechanical engineering term, I'm pretty sure. Take it back to Jerome's engineering days, man. We're talking, whenever I search the term or image for compressor, it shows, valves and literally compressors. But what does a compressor do? It takes all of that energy, compresses it into one little thing, and then pushes it into a very directed area. Today, we are going to drop what a compressor actually is. And if you guys know me, I have to remember things through acronyms. And so I sent Jerome an email about a day ago, said, okay, compressor is a long word. There's a lot of letters to that. I've got the first 5 or 6, but I need some help on the end of them. So, man, I'm excited to go through what a compressor is today. And we're going to have a resource available for you guys to download, print out, put up on your wall. But before you do that, make sure you go subscribe. We're live on iTunes, super exciting. Go subscribe, leave a review. But if you even want more information, more tools, more data, more accountability, head over to compressionpodcast.com and become a compressor. Without further ado, let's jump right in, man. All right, Jerome, what did you think whenever I emailed you about what a compressor is, and what does a compressor mean to you, man?
All right. I got to back up before we go into that, right? People don't realize that this happened right in front of their eyes on LinkedIn. You posted, hey, I want to do this thing. Who should I talk to? And then we went through the comments, and eventually we ended up with this thing's called compression.
That's right.
We're figuring out how to condense 3 years into one. And then we kept going, and we go to Tim Grover, and he's got these 3 C's, right? Mm-hmm. What is it? Cooler, closer, cleaner. You're like, man, right. That's strong. That's tactical.
Yeah, it is.
And then we elevated it, right? Mm-hmm. Compressor. Compressor is the apex performer.
That's right.
Right? I wanted to call them a predator, but they're an apex performer, right? They're the people that harness that dark space. And I'm going to tell the listeners, and they might not want to hear this, Logan, but if you haven't been to the dark place yet, you're not a compressor.
Yep.
If you don't know how to harness that dark energy and focus it and hone it like a magnifying glass with the sun coming through it on this one thing to make it happen. Dude, you posted that picture of you jacked today, right? When you were coming out of that dark place, and somebody was talking about how impressive you looked, and you told them the truth, but on the inside,
straight up, man,
on the inside, I was empty. I was lost. Broken. I was struggling, right? But on the outside, you look like a Greek god.
That's right, legit, man.
And it was so much fun to come out there to Kansas City with you and talk about the rowing machine, and you having to get rid of the rowing machine so that you could come back. But compressors are those folks who get fixated on something and they just go into it. And the thing that I probably admire most about you is instead of letting all of that stress and pain and turmoil and strife crush you, you use it to make a better you.
Yeah,
You
that's
lost
right.
120 pounds, dude. Like,
Yeah,
it's not because you were like loose and flabby. I mean, you were a pro football player and
that's right.
eating 10,000 calories a day and
Mhm.
you just brought it all back. My mouth still falls on the floor every time you tell the story about eating tuna, a can of tuna,
Oh my
and
gosh.
being what is it, concrete, doing the concrete work
Concrete.
and tuna.
Concrete, tuna, and chicken. I legitimately could not eat chicken for like 2 or 3 years. I can't eat tuna. I don't touch it. And it wasn't like, a seared tuna or ahi tuna. I'm talking, you go to Walmart, you go to that aisle that has those disgusting flavored tunas. That's what my diet was eating that. Man, that's compression though. I compressed 120 pounds of weight off of my body in 6.5 to 7 months.
It's insane.
Now, I have put a little bit of that back on. It was a funny exchange. One of my investors saw the picture and he said, "Man, you really did take that red pill." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "That's a miracle. I saw your picture this morning. You posted on LinkedIn. It looks like you've lost a lot of weight." Because I just met with him a couple of weeks ago. Oh man, I had to laugh because I don't think he meant it to come off like that. But I was like, "Man, you just told me I was fat in a really nice way." But I've got accountability built around that, and we will compress that this year as well. So that is exactly the inception of compression. It was in real time. Jerome messaged me and said, "I've got the name. Here it is. It's called compression." And it was just so cool. It just felt right, And so many people get, I think, caught up on naming things. What should the name be? And what should I name my company and all of that? Put it out to the market, get feedback, and then make a decision, right? Because what's up here isn't always what's going to resonate with people. So it was a fun inception story. And now we've got a podcast with, close to 12 or 13 episodes now and a big following, man. It's rolling.
It's amazing how quickly things go. But I mean, but your question was, what's the compressor, right? And so I think you got to go through something. I think you got to have some trauma, some stress, some loss that puts you in a dark place where you start questioning everything, right? And deciding and rebuilding and saying, this is what my life is going to be. And then having that worthy pursuit, that goal that you want to accomplish, and be in a place where you're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yes.
Whatever it takes in order to make it happen. And there's not a whole lot of people who actually get to that place. They talk about, hey, I want this and I want that. And when they get asked, what are you willing to sacrifice for it? They say, well, I still want to be comfortable and whatever else. And so this is that pressure that makes the diamond. That's what a compressor is. And
that's right.
But we broke it down. Right. We got something for every letter. And so I'll throw it back to you, man. And let's break this out for the people so they can grab on hold of it.
If you haven't listened to the Who is Jerome Myers and Who is Logan Freeman episodes, you will hear both of our dark places. Unabashed authenticity at our lowest place right there in those episodes. Go back, listen to those. And then we also will have an episode just about diamonds coming out here pretty soon as well. So with that being said, the first letter of compression is C, and this is confidence. Confidence is key, and confidence comes from a lot of different places, but real confidence is self-confidence. Self-confidence comes from who you are. That's your identity at your core, and that is built over experience. So when the alarm goes off at 3:30 in the morning for me, the way I build confidence is I don't push snooze. I move the blanket off of me, put the legs over the bed, cringe my neck just a little bit, and I go. 5 seconds, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. 5-second rule, Mel Robbins. Best way to build confidence is to be based on what you did in the past. Every moment of every day, you have a choice. And that choice that you make is either building your confidence bank up or taking taking withdrawals. You want more deposits in your confidence bank. Every single day, everything that you do is building your confidence or it's decimating your confidence, man. So first C of being a compressor is all about confidence.
Woo. Woo. I can't say anything on that. Go, man. What's the O for?
Okay. This is one that I learned from Uncle G. So the O is omnipresent. I have been dubbed the young Grant Cardone, and I stop people in their tracks. Because I am not a Grant Cardone. I am Logan Freeman. And Logan Freeman will make his own path. Do I listen to Grant Cardone? Do I know his story? Do I respect him? Yes. But do not call me a young GC, because that is not who I am. Now, one of the things that he does mention a lot is this notion of omnipresence. And this is being everywhere all the time. I break this down into a few different ways. When there's an option, it's like, hey, do I need to be on Clubhouse? Do I need to be on Periscope, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter? The answer is always yes. The answer is always yes. And Jerome checked me this morning because I said, hey, do I need to get on Clubhouse? And he said, yes, because of omnipresence. So that's one thing, being visibility. You cannot be liked and trusted unless you are known. And the only way to be known is to be omnipresent. When somebody Googles me, they see YouTube, Bigger Pockets, LinkedIn, three sites that I have, my real estate brokerage, FTW Investments, Liv Freeman. You keep going and going. Hit the image tab. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. 55 podcasts, whatever it is. So when somebody calls me or has the opportunity to chat with me, they've already done a Google search and they're like, wow, this guy is everywhere. He has done everything, even though I haven't, because perspective is reality. And so you have to realize that being everywhere is about brand. It's about awareness, and it's about being in people's pockets. So that is what a compressor is, because you can't be liked, trusted, an advisor unless you are known. So that's omnipresence, man. I don't know.
All right, so you slid that one in there, right? You said be in their pockets. Most people don't know what you're talking about, Logan, right? Being in their pockets is every time they pick up their phone, they open that app, they see your smiling face. Well, I smile, you don't smile. They see your smiling face, right? I love when people say, hey, I feel like I already know you. Yes. When the first time I talk to them, I feel like I already know you. You do.
Yes, you absolutely do. And if you don't, then that's a, it could be a detrimental thing, because with all of the ability to be known these days, if you're not known, then that's probably telling you something about somebody. If you're in a commodities business, if you're in a business that sells something or does something that somebody else does and they're known and you're not, bye-bye.
Out of here.
Bye-bye. It's not happening.
Logan, so there's some people listening right now that say, man, I don't want to be famous. I don't. And I mean, if you talk to me in what is that, April of 2019, I'm telling you the same thing, man. I don't want my pictures on the internet. I don't want to be on anybody's interview. Like, I just want to keep my head low and make my money and get out.
Yeah.
Why omnipresent? Why can't I do it that way?
It's impact. It's impact. And that's what we're actually going to go right into the next one, because the M builds right on top of the O. So you start with confidence. Now you're omnipresent. Now we're talking about magnitude and multitude. This is what is called the law of affection. In a business, in anything in life, you can either build it through magnitude or you can build it through multitude. For example, you can sell pencils to schools. You probably make a half a penny, if that, maybe a tenth of a penny. I don't know, 1/1000th of a penny on every one that you sell. You have to sell billions of pencils to make a business. That is multitude. Okay. Now we have magnitude. Magnitude is, hey, I don't sell pencils. I sell custom designed, laser engraved pens that you have to fill the ink with, that you have a manual that comes with the pen, right? I got a manual with a pen. That's multitude. That pin was $19.99 as a gift. I didn't buy the damn thing, but it was a gift to me. Now that's magnitude. That's the best of the pin. That's the Cadillac. That's not the Cadillac. That is the Maserati of pins.
Is it going to make you write better?
It's not going to make you write better. I'll tell you that, but it will give you some confidence, which is important. So the M builds on omnipresence because you cannot have magnitude unless you are known, because the top of the top people in the industry aren't going to work with somebody who is not necessarily known. Multitude, it's obviously, pretty apparent. To be able to have impact to millions or billions of people, you need to do what Grant Cardone is doing on the multitude side of things, right? So the omnipresence works in both of those. You'll have the opportunity to be magnitude and you'll have the opportunity to have multitude, but multitude is usually where you start. You usually don't get to magnitude until you've gone through some sort of multitude. And so I just want folks to understand, to be a compressor, you have to have really big impact, but to have really big impact, you need to have talked with or have the multitude that touches enough people to give you that impact. So that's the M.
Man. And so I was like, well, wait, where's message, right? Because M, message. And then I saw the P. Mm-hmm. It's like positive, patient, and present.
Yes.
Positive, patient, and present. Right?
So
be where your feet are.
We got the 3 P's here. The 3 P's: positive, patient, and present. In this scenario, these are 3 ways that you can show up in every single moment of your life. Okay. We have a choice. You can choose to be positive. You can choose to be negative. Compressors bring the energy. Compressors show up no matter what's going on in their lives. Compressors put their phones on do not disturb, turn them over, and they get to work. They're present with whatever they're doing at this moment. The level of this content, the intentionality, the energy, the focus, the discipline that I'm putting into this, that you're putting into this right now, is higher than 95% of the podcasts out there. I'm not typing on my computer. I don't have screens up in the background. I am here right now, and you can hear it. I know you can. And that is what a compressor does. Patience with results, not with activities. In real estate, we always say it's a get rich slow scheme, so to speak. It's not a get rich fast. It's a wealth building over time. It's really easy in life to want that result right off the bat. That's not what a compressor does. A compressor understands not only does it take time to be an alchemist, to be the master, to be all of the above. It takes time and it takes patience. But you also, go ahead.
Wait, but Logan, you're condensing 3 years into one. What do you mean it takes time? Like, isn't that instant gratification?
I've been doing this for 7 years now. This is my 7th year of waking up at 3:30 in the morning. Nobody knew me 12 months ago. I started to have impact on the multitude level. It took me 6 years to get any type of multitude. Now we're getting to magnitude because I've got the message. I've built a foundation for 6 years. I've taken massive strategic action, and that's why I'm here to tell you what I'm telling today. So the compression 1 year from 3 years is just taking everything that we've learned over those last 3 years and making it easier for you to compress. You get to learn from us and our mistakes and our failures, but you will still fail. You will still have times that you want to give up. And that is where the patience comes in. You have to understand that it is a journey. Every long journey starts with a single step, but that single step you have to take every single day. And that's what's going to build that confidence as well, which then brings us right into the R, man. So I say you got to show up every day. I was looking for somewhere to put perseverance or grit, but I already had my 3 P's and there is no G in compressor. So we got resiliency. Resiliency. What does that mean? To be resilient means that you can be thrown into the fire, you can be torn apart, you can be broken down, you can feel like shit, you can do all of these things, but still show up as the best version of yourself. You still have the tenacity, the grit to put your shoes on, chop wood, and carry water every single day. So that's resilience. It's just doing it over and over and over and over again. Self-aware through the process, but also not pivoting every 2 seconds, losing momentum.
But it's not working, Logan. I gotta get a quick hit. I gotta get results. I gotta get a win. I'm so used to being perfect. It always works and it happens right now. So if it's not working in 2 weeks, you mean I gotta keep going?
Yeah, you do. And your quick win is this. If we go into behavioral and cognitive psychology, which is what drives all of this stuff, by the way, but I won't use those terms because nobody understands them or won't take the time. So that's why I break it down into one word, resiliency. But if you have that and you have the ability to change the rule for achievement, change your rule for happiness, change your rule for experiencing joy. You set the rules of how you feel. Emotions are things that happen to you. Feelings are what you create. So all you have to do to say, if I need that quick win, change the rule for what becomes that quick win. Maybe the quick win is showing up. Maybe the quick win is just putting the shoes on. Maybe the quick win is just getting in the gym for 15 minutes. James Bryant called me out on our text chat this morning. I never even met James Bryant. I don't even know who that is. And he said, I only had 48 minutes, but I still got it in. I said, I only got 15 minutes. He said, better make a good use of it. So what did I do? Put my shoes on. I went up to the workout room and I got a 15-minute kettlebell workout in. Boom. That's the quick win. I changed the rule for what it means to be successful in what you're trying to achieve.
That's crazy. You just told them that they get to choose how they feel.
That's right.
Wait, no, I feel this way. It's not a choice.
Read Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. This old boy was in the Nazi camps of, what do they call those? The tear gas camps, the concentration camps.
Yeah.
He wrote a book. He lost his wife, lost his family, lost his brothers, his sisters, everything. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. The one takeaway from that, between a stimulus and your response is the ability to tell yourself a story. And if you're able to tell yourself a positive story in that piece, you can change the way that you feel. So I'll leave it at that on that one.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Guys, you get to choose everything. You get to decide. You get the stimulus and you get to decide what the stimulus means for you.
That's right.
And if you have to react instead of respond, then you're being carnal. You're being primal. You're no different than a dog.
That's right.
Wolf.
That's what makes us humans, is the cognitive ability to hold on to what is unique in our spirit, whatever you want to call it. And the way that spirit is formed is the way that you choose to tell yourself. People always talk about, hey, you don't want to talk to yourself. You don't want to talk to yourself. That's just weird. You talk to yourself every single minute of every single day. It's just simply asking yourself a question in your head and then answering it. That's talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can change that, Dan Pink talks a lot about interrogative talking, self-talk in his book, Drive. Or maybe it's To Sell is Human. I can't remember. But it's one of his books. It's rooted in psychology. You have the ability to change that. It's been proven. It's been studied. You can go onto the web and find all those studies. I don't know them. I read people like Dan Pink to make it easier for me to understand. You can change that by changing the way that you frame that in your own mind. Okay. All right, man, we're going on to excellence. This is a striving, right? So I was coached in football that, perfection from John Wooden. I actually read this with John Wooden. Perfection is what you strive for. Excellence is what you land on. You're never going to be perfect, but trying to be perfect, just like we said in the code episode, striving to live that code out will make you a better person. So you strive for excellence. And this is an easy way to frame that on excellence. When you have a decision to make, when you say this, would the best version of myself make this choice right now? And if it's a no, then you do the opposite. If it's a yes, take action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. That's the way you fix excellence into your life. And you also have to have extreme discipline around being excellent in every area of your life. Not just one.
No. You're taking this to a different level right now. Because you're telling people that they're accountable in everything, not just the things that are convenient for them in the moment. Right?
That's why compressor
one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah. I mean, no matter where you go, there you are. And if you have the ability to work towards excellence and perfection, it's going to give you confidence. So these all build on each other. And now, I also, we wrote these to say this is going to weed a lot of people out. It's going to be polarizing.
But Logan, this is the 1% of the 1%.
That's right.
Let's be clear about that. And this isn't for everybody. And I don't want to be around everybody, if I'm totally honest.
One thing that's been clearly made apparent to me as I have grown our family, as Taylor and I have grown our family and we are growing businesses, and I have, sit on the board of directors, and I, work at the church, and I do all of these things, is that every minute of every day needs to be spent with the who that will bring you up. Ooh. Jerome, you talk about the proximity principle a lot. And so whenever I'm sizing people up, shout out to Robin Dreek, great guy, fantastic dude, great book. Got his little first book here that I'm reading right now about how to build rapport. If you are sizing people up, use this analogy or use this acronym, to think about how they act and how they show up on a regular basis. You can use this as a filter. We've built all of these things to be filters in your life. Just like I talked about the law of 33%, devilish prospecting, Parkinson's law, Pareto's principle, Newton's law of motion. I'm obsessed with eponymous laws. EPONYMOUS. I'm a freak, man. Who knows what eponymous means? I do. Because that stuff has lasted before, the Renaissance, before Gutenberg. And that's where we're going to get right into Stoic. This one gets a bad rap because people say, Stoics don't have any emotion. They don't have any empathy. And I will ask them, have you read Seneca? Have you read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations? Have you really read it, or did you just Google what Stoicism is? Because Stoics were very empathetic. Now, they have 4 cardinal virtues, which the Catholic Church stole from them. I would say adopted. How about that? Adopted from them. But it goes like this: wisdom, prudence, temperance, and justice. So when I think about becoming the best version of myself and I'm making decisions and I want to be excellent and I'm striving for perfection, how do I do that? Well, now I have 4 virtues that I can make every decision through. This is not a religious talk. This is Stoics were not religious by any means. Mind you, just not at all. But virtue did not begin with religion either. Virtues began with Zeno of Citium way back in Athens, where his ship just wrecked and he showed up and had to figure out life. That's where Stoicism came up. So Stoic is this philosophy of saying everything that happens externally in life is data. It is just something that is going on. It's perception. There's these items that are out of your control. Circle of control, circle of influence. You have to focus on what you can, your circle of control, not your circle of concern. Sorry, I said circle of influence. We'll have to re-erase that because it was circle of control, circle of concern. Stoics are mostly worried and concerned with their circle of control. And that is what you have to do on a regular basis. You have to study great minds, great thinkers, great philosophers that say, no matter what happens in life, I can still show up as a prudent, a temperate, a just, and a wise person. So that's Stoicism. I had to throw it in there because, frankly, we had two S's, and it has had such a positive impact on, the ability to deal with situations like COVID. So if you haven't read Stoicism, an easy way to get started is a 3-minute podcast by Ryan Holiday called The Daily Stoic, where he reads just a little excerpt of that book that he has put together. Mind you, that podcast has 30 million downloads, so obviously people are resonating with it. That's Stoic. Any questions on that one?
I just want to say you're going to die, right? I mean, that's
another temper. Yes.
It's just, when I think of Stoicism, that's where I go, you're going to die. And
yes.
So it puts everything in perspective because it's a great equalizer, right? Nobody can escape it. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I'm going to do these things and get the blood cleaning and go and get frozen and I'm going to live to 170. You're still going to die.
Yes.
Right. So like, how much of an impact are you going to make with the time that you have here? And outside of that, will you become immortal by the impact that you have on the world? Not that you can bask in it and enjoy it, but it's an opportunity for you to live on past your initial influence. And I mean, for me, that's true omnipresence, right? We're talking about Seneca. How long ago did he die?
A couple thousand years ago.
All right. So we go from Stoicism and we talk about being strong. That's the second S.
That's right, man.
Strength.
Memento mori is the ability it's the ability that we're all going to die. That's the Stoic philosophy. Memento mori, and then amor fati. These are Latin terms. Amor fati is the obstacle, is the way, where the piece that is in front of you that is holding you back actually is the way. Okay, so strong. This has such a big connotation. Strong in the sense of physical, strong in the sense of being emotionally strong, being mentally strong. Strong gets a bad rap in the sense that it's strong is dumb. Strong is not dumb. Strong encompasses all of the pieces that we've already talked about. Resilience, being positive, being patient, being present, having confidence. Those are all influences on the word strong. Now, I also put strong in there because strong, you do need to be physically strong. As we have all seen the last 12 months now, almost, of coronavirus and all the other things going on in life, there are some folks that, went the wrong way in relation to their health, made excuses, and there's some, like Anthony Vicino, who lost 35 pounds and looks like I did 5 or 6 years ago. It's just crazy. So the ability to be strong in all facets, emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical, is something that a compressor always is striving towards.
And what I would say is that you don't know your strength until you're tested.
That's right.
And so you had to go into the dark. And we talked about it in the beginning. I'm going to come back here because everything is a cycle. You got to go into it to figure out how strong you are. And you got to continue to build that strength because, as you grow, as your responsibilities grow, as your influence increases, you got to be able to handle that pressure.
That's right.
Right. So strength is core for us.
And, one thing I learned when I was going through that massive physical transformation was that strength can start in the physical sense, but what follows is mental fortitude and strength. So a lot of people find their emotional, mental, spiritual strength through physical strength, right? I mean, Newton's law of motion states that a body in motion stays in motion, a body at rest stays at rest. And if you're able to be moving, you're going to have things change, you're going to think differently, and it helps all those other facets. So the next one, the O, is open and original. So we'll start with open, because open is a term that I learned from Wayne Dyer, a guy that I really, really respect. I think he was a great thinker. Wayne Dyer said to be open to everything and attached to nothing. And I just want to say that again: open to everything, attached to nothing. You don't know what you don't know. And the way to grow wiser is to be able to learn something from someone or some situation at every given moment. I've realized the last 6 or 8 months that there's some really high performing people that will always be at the level that they are. And they'll be a cleaner, maybe not even a cleaner, a closer, but they'll never get to be a compressor because they're too proud. They're too proud to say, I didn't know that. I can learn from this person. Maybe I should think about this in a different way. I probably shouldn't be attached to those same ideals that I was 25 years ago. Man, maybe I should look at this and try something different. In the real estate space, in the business space, in life with 2 kids and my wife, you might think that something was working, and so you're going to stick to it. You're going to cling to it. But then something changes. Then COVID happens and everybody's working from home. Now you have to flex. You have to be open to change. You know, I just got off the line with a guy that we both respect, who I know you're talking to later this afternoon, John Azar. And John grew a company from 2,000 units to 6,500 units. And his one piece of advice was, what got you here will not get you there. At some level, you're going to plateau, you're going to be stuck, and you're going to have to think about it at a different way. So that's this open to everything, being attached to nothing, constant learner, growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. And I want to always, compressors are always looking for the way that somebody else is doing something, adopting that to what works for them and moving forward. And they never shut somebody or something down because of preconceived notions. That's open to everything and attached to nothing.
I'll throw another one out there that I know you like, is strongly held beliefs.
Yes.
Held, right? And the thing with that all right, I got to lean in on this one, guys.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. Right. So this personal story, right? I didn't want to be on the internet prior to April of 2019. Imagine if, when I lost all of my income in the first half of 2020, because my conference was canceled and the 4 deals that we were working through, actually wrote LOIs on or was in some form of being under contract, vanished. What would I have done had I held that same opinion? Especially when you can't go meet with people now. What would I have done? Right? And so you've got to be open to making a change. And it doesn't matter if you're uncomfortable making that change, right? It's got to be open. It's got to be original. It's just real stories, real life, guys.
That is, man. Appreciate you sharing that. Okay, original. I have to zoom through original, but original is very simple. You know, you have to be able to disseminate a lot of information and figure out what your voice is. People don't want to hear you regurgitating something from somebody else that they've already heard a million times. So a compressor takes all of that information in, and they have very specific people who they take it in from too. Some of the worst advice I've ever heard is to, listen to everybody's advice, right? You can listen to it, but you have to have your filter that it then comes through, and then you have to put your own voice to it. So being original, being unique. Everyone listening to this podcast right now is unique, special, and original in their own sense. Your makeup is not like anybody else's, which means you have something special inside of you. You have to find it. You have to tap into it, and you have to work on it. But you have that originality inside of you, and it's just your job to bring it out. And compressors are always bringing that out and putting out original thought and acting in an original way. So that's what I wanted to get across on original. And you actually put original.
I did, because you've got to connect the dots, right? The goal isn't to create something from scratch. It's to add to and improve something that's already there.
That's right.
For instance, when we talk about coolers, closers, cleaners, we're expanding Tim Grover's model and adding this Apex Performer as a compressor.
Absolutely.
So just keep that in mind, guys. You don't have to recreate the wheel. You just need to make it better.
All right. We're finishing out strong with the R, which is results oriented. Okay. You always have to be focused on the result. Where are you going? What are the results you are trying to achieve? Do not take action for action's sake. You have to be able to focus on a goal and the outcome of that goal. So, for example, when you have, all of these meetings that you have on your calendar, there's probably 20% of those meetings that you really need to be on that are bringing you 80% of those results. So how about starting a meeting like this? Hey guys, I'm glad we're chatting today. What would be the best result of this meeting? Start a meeting out that way. People will be like, wait, what? Like, what are we trying to achieve right now? You might come off a little brash. You'll get better at it. But that's just a great example of utilizing results-oriented thinking. When I get on a call with an investor, Mr. Investor, Mrs. Investor, I just want you to know we have 15 minutes here. I vow to make this the most valuable 15 minutes of your day. My result here is that you know exactly what we do, and I get to learn a little bit more about you by the end of this call. How does that sound?
Amazing. Let's get started.
Let's get started. So you set that intention. You can do that with meetings in person. You can do it with phone calls. You can do it when you have free time. What's the result that I want to get out of this free time? Think about how you want to feel, at the end of this call, at the end of this, meeting that you're having. You always want to do that. So results-oriented thinking, man, is the last R for being a compressor.
Guys, if you don't get any results, none of the other stuff matters. And I think the thing that you'll learn about Logan is he follows models, right? He follows proven models that have delivered results for people that he respects, right? And by doing that, it allows you to compress time. You can turn a decade into a week.
That's right.
You do it the right way. So make sure that you see the results and then are willing to do whatever it takes for however long it takes. That's the resilience, in case you guys don't see that I'm jumping to the other R, right? To get the result. Because if you pivot every few days, every week, every month, you're never going to build anything meaningful. I appreciate you, Logan. This is phenomenal, man. Hopefully they got something out of it. I did.
Yeah, I did too. So just to recap, if you want to be a compressor, you're confident, you're omnipresent, you have magnitude and multitude, you're positive, patient, present, you're resilient, you strive for excellence, you're stoic and strong, you're open to everything and attached to nothing, you have original thought, and you're results oriented. If you don't read any books this year, take those. How many letters is it, Jerome? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Take those 10 things and start working on every single one of them. You got 12 months this year. We're already into January, so you got 12 months. You've got 10 things to focus on. All you have to do, make that intentionality your focus for 1 month. Maybe you do 1 or 2 twice a month, right? So we have a little bit extra time. Focus on that and talk to me in 12 months. I want to know what you're doing right now, how this affected you. And in 12 months, I want to know if you're omnipresent. I want to know if you're stoic, if you even know what that means. I want to know if you're open to everything and attached to nothing. How's your confidence bank doing? All of those things are measurable. They're right there in front of you. There's models for every single one of them. It should be 12 podcasts in itself going through each one of those. But that's not what I do. I compress it into one. Now it's up to you to go dive into each one of those every single month. That's what compressors do, and that's what compressing means. Thanks, Jerome.
Logan, we didn't even say money on here anywhere. This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal.
No money on this one. Hey, compressors, if something you heard struck you, made you feel a little bit uncomfortable, good. Head on over to compressionpodcast.com. And then you can also subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast at. If you feel inclined to, please leave us a review. It's obviously helpful. But instead, I'm going to call you out today. I'm going to call you out and make sure that you do your part, sharing this message by sharing it with one person that might need to hear what we talked about today. Be great. Nothing else pays.